Well, hello, everybody. Welcome back to Snapshots and Stories. This is episode 5. I'm going to stop
I
counting.
don't know. I honestly thought it was more like 7, 6 or
It
7.
probably is.
Yeah, wow.
Oh my gosh. In any
Yeah,
event, here we are. Thank you so
yeah,
much for tuning in, for those who are coming in. My name is Paul Owen. This beside me is Kate Taddick, and we have a special
hello.
guest on tonight. And I'm going to just one sec here. Just give me 1 second. I just got to get, I'll get you started right with this.
Mhm.
Hang on here. So let me get my paper. Here we go. Sorry for the little bit of a delay, but we're going to make an introduction to our special guest. So tonight we have a very special guest on. His name is Logan. Logan Hudson. And I called you Kyle last week, by the way, at your introduction. I hope your middle name's Kyle.
No worries. I get it Luke a lot, so that's all right.
Luke, okay, there you go. So let's talk a little bit about Logan. So Logan now is a professional photographer, and he's gone professional as of a couple of years ago. He's been kicking around photography probably for a long, long, long time, and he does a lot of things. I went on Logan's site and saw a lot of his fantastic photography, and he does everything from landscapes. He does tourism work. He does weddings. He does portraits, and he just does it all. And I think he has a passion for all of it because all of his photos, no matter which one that you look at, they all give off this amazing vibe that this guy's really, really passionate about what he does. Are you from St. John originally, Logan, or?
No, I grew up in Nova Scotia, Truro, Nova Scotia, and then
Okay.
I went there for school and planned to just go there for school and stuck around for about a decade since then, or after that. But back in Nova Scotia now. So
Okay, perfect. All right, so you're based out of Nova Scotia, and I think you told us you're talking to us from Newfoundland today. So
yeah,
you're on vacation. So thank you so much for taking the time out of your vacation to spend some time with us.
no problem at all.
So anyway, having said all that, we're excited to talk with you about what you're doing. So I'm going to pass it over to Kate because Kate's got some questions she's just dying to ask you.
Sure.
Hi, Logan. Thanks for joining us.
Great
Uh,
to see you.
It's exciting to have you on. I feel like I've known you in the photography community for a while, and I've admired your work. And it's really been something to see you grow as a photographer. I was always taken by your landscapes. I feel like you have a real knack for capturing really any landscape in this moody, romantic way. Places that I've gone before and, didn't see it like that. And then I think you seem to have traveled the world a little bit recently,
Mhm.
in Mexico, Utah, perhaps.
Over,
I'd
over
love
over a span of a few years, yeah, but a
Yeah,
little.
I know. Well, okay. So before I show our viewers some of the pictures that I'm talking about, um, first of all, I'm so curious about the place that you were in Mexico. And could you pronounce the name of that city for us?
Oh, Oaxaca.
Oaxaca. Okay. So curious, what were you there on a photographic job? Was it personal? I'm just curious what you were doing there with your camera.
I just part of why I wanted to do this job is because I like a majority of the work that you do kind of fits into a certain season, which is nice. And sort of being self-employed, I ended up just taking that winter to just. I was 29 at the time, turning 30, so I had always wanted to do some backpacking, and then I just ended up going for just shy of 3 months. And it wasn't for photos, but I took down just a little
Okay.
Fuji X100 digital, and then just a little point and shoot Pentax, and obviously like shot the whole time. And it was great, I think, in the sense too, because it kept me sharp in the off season, because a lot of the time in the winter, to be honest, I don't touch my camera a lot when I'm around home. So to be away in a place where I'm kind of constantly looking for compositions and stuff, it kind of kept me in a point where when I came back and started back to work, it felt like I was like sharp and ready to go. And last year was a really, really good year because of that, I think. So
Yeah. did you find that people that were employing you in your professional work were seeing the photos that you had taken while you were away, and were they part of like?
Hard to say who sees what on
Yeah.
Instagram.
Yeah, for sure.
I was saying before we started here, I said I brought up the term, not in regards to photography and that initially, but when you can't tie knots, tie lots. And so like I feel like I'm just always shooting, and I feel like I'm not really thinking much about who's seeing it at any given point in time. It's just putting it out there into the ether and seeing what happens. And I've definitely had a couple of relationships that have come out of working in the photo industry, but so I do have people kind of coming back and connections that way. But I don't really know where my, like, for
Yeah.
Instagram, it just kind of goes out there, and I don't know.
Yeah.
We see what happens.
Yeah, so true. So when I look at your photos, honestly, from anywhere, from Grand Manan, Utah, wherever you're at in the world, I get this feeling that all of your work captures like a deep sense of stillness. That's kind of what I get when I look at your photos. And like, I'm just curious, like, are you conscious that that's happening? Like, do you have a personal ritual or a mindset that you kind of tap into before you're taking your photos or anything like that?
That's an interesting question. I don't know. In mindset, like, I think it's over time. Again, like when you kind of focus on just continually doing a thing, like a lot of it starts to become automatic over time. So I mean, like in terms of a ritual, it's just putting myself in beautiful places and just letting things kind of happen from there, right? Like,
Sure.
and it's like, I think it's the art. This is a bit of a cliche, but like I've heard people say, like, the art of noticing, you know what I mean, is photography or video stuff, and noticing the tiny little details. So I guess maybe just the putting myself in a space where it's looking for just the little things that are kind of around you. Like, I don't know, I get excited to kind of put things together like in a composition as a puzzle, and like too. So I have a funny way of thinking about it in terms of how I put together photos as well. But I don't know if it's a mindset. It's just kind of like like a background operating system, like a philosophy kind of about it.
I love that. And it's so interesting because since becoming friends with Paul, Paul loves to ask those kind of questions of me, for example, like, oh, what were you thinking? Or what are you, when you're doing these kinds of photos? And, I've never had to put it into words. It can be interesting and almost difficult sometimes to try and put it into words. But once you start doing that, it's interesting to see what comes to mind of, like, maybe I do have a ritual that I'm not aware of. And I love what you just said about the puzzle pieces, because I can kind of see that, like, especially in your photos of like the mundane, you could say, that aren't really mundane when they're captured like that.
Yeah.
So do you mind if I share a set of your Grand Manan photos? Because I feel like our viewers could relate to this area, of course.
Yeah.
And I think that you shot it on film, which is really interesting. Let me just go down here and find it again, because I feel that a lot of us have gone to Grand Manan over and over. You see the same things, the boat, the cliffs, the whatever, and you're like, oh, like, I'm not going to take another picture of those. You know what I mean?
I've seen them. Looks like,
Yeah, so I'm just going to share my screen and oh, where am I at here? Sorry, guys, just one sec.
That's all right.
Oh, here we go. And I'm going to share this tab.
Perfect.
Okay, so can you see that?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So am I correct in saying these were taken with film?
The first one was. The second two are both just edits.
And this actually wasn't the set. Just one sec.
I do love that one. Oh, I think it's the me in the hammock, I think, is the one you might be thinking of.
Up here.
Yeah, that one, I think. Maybe.
It was so I'm sorry, everybody. It was like a set of a bigger set. I'm sorry. It might be. Okay. There's so many here of Grand Manan. I think it started with the cliffs, actually, because it caught my attention.
I think it'd be up.
We're getting a little look at Logan's Instagram here,
Yeah, just an
everybody.
overview. There's a nice overview.
Yeah, exactly.
Good. Keep going. I'll point it out.
I was okay. Oh, here it is. Yeah.
That one. That's right.
Here we
Yeah,
go. Okay. Yeah. So these are some common places that you would see in Grand Manan,
Mhm.
and just, a different way to look at them, or just something to make you pause and think, and look twice at a place that maybe you've gone over and over. And sorry, were these on film? These ones?
Yes, all of these ones are. Yes. Yeah, these are mostly on Portra. Yeah.
So I'm so curious. So when you're taking a film photo, is there any editing applied to these?
Very little, very little. Some these ones in particular, no, actually. I feel like these were straight. I got these scanned by State Film Lab in Kentucky, and they did really,
Okay.
really great job.
Yeah.
I might do a little more. I think if I was to do the same set today, I would probably do a bit of work on them, but like I like to keep it pretty as it was,
Okay, interesting. So when you take your film,
Mm.
you have to send it away to get done. Is that how
Yeah,
that works?
I've been sending my stuff to Toronto lately, which has been really great. I found a really, really good spot. Yeah, I've been loving them, loving their scans and really fast turnarounds and stuff. Grain Nation, I'll prop them.
Okay, excellent. Yeah, film's a world that I haven't gone into yet. I have a few cameras on my shelf that I should probably just get the courage to dust off and give it a try. So also just kind of keeping in the same theme of what we've been talking about, just you going and shooting places and, putting the puzzle together and kind of telling a story. Was there ever a moment while you were shooting where something unexpected completely shifted how you saw a place? Like something unexpected?
Something that like changed my perspective on what I was seeing. Like, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
something that clicked. You know what I mean? I don't know. I took a hike in Gaspé National Park in 2018 with a close friend of mine.
Yeah.
I don't know what can I say here. We dropped some acid and then we hiked a mountain. But like
Yeah.
I was actually okay. That was the there was a moment when I was sort of up on top when I talk about that puzzle piece thing, like I remember the geometry of things starting to fit together and almost being able to see that overlaid on the things that I was shooting at the time. And I feel like even since then, I still, even though I don't see it quite the same way, like that's sort of what I'm imagining when I'm putting together compositions of things. And I feel like I've looked at composition differently since then. It's a bit of an obscure, I don't know if that's appropriate, but but it was what happened. I mean, and that was definitely a breakthrough. And I think that was also around the time when I kind of knew in my bones that I wanted to do this pretty much full time, or I wanted to do this and have it be a really integral part of my life,
It's so funny that you mentioned Gaspé because I did order a few years ago for my husband when he was graduating from his professional program. He picked out a print of yours off your Instagram and he picked the Gaspé.
How was that like?
That Gaspé print is in our living room in a 3x5 or whatever, that in a big giant frame canvas. So really, I feel it's really fitting that you picked that.
That's awesome. Yeah, you're right. I totally forgot that you bought that. That is the very hike. That was probably moments away from me having that realization. That's really, really
great.
That's
very interesting.
Yeah.
Well, so Logan, that kind of scratched the surface for my questions for you because I was just very interested in getting kind of into your head about, how do you see these places and able to capture them in a way, even on film with so little editing, like your film photo sometimes are what I might try to make mine look like with editing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I feel,
I was just gonna say I craft most of my digital stuff. I have such a hard time with it as is, and so I usually just try to make that look like my film work a lot of the time. Like for jobs, I'll bring a separate camera to shoot film, and then I'll just use the colors and stuff to influence what I'm actually editing from there.
Yeah. Great. Yeah, it's not a lot of film photographers I get a chance to talk to, so thanks for sharing that insight.
Hmm.
with us. So those are I'm good on my questions, Paul. Like if you must have some burning questions for him
Yeah,
now.
no, those are great questions, and it's good insight. That's interesting with the film. I belong to a couple of different photo club places in the area,
Mhm.
and they have one thing that they do with a film camera is they have a camera, they load it up with a film, and then they give it to someone, and then that person takes a picture, and
Mhm.
then they give it to the next member, then they take a picture, and it was called the traveling camera. So
Mhm.
this thing went around for a year with people taking shots with his film camera, and
Mhm.
it came back, and because you just didn't know at all what you were going to see, and it
Mhm.
was the coolest thing. And
Mhm.
so film cameras are making a huge comeback,
Mhm.
and especially in the black and white world, of course.
Mhm.
But I see the colors that you're doing with yours are absolutely amazing.
Mhm.
Just loving what you're doing with your film work.
Thank you, Paul.
Um, I noticed when I started looking at your photography, and I'm looking at Kate's photography, and I know that you both like shadows. You
Mhm.
have a lot of shadow in your work,
Mhm.
to the point where it's very mysterious. Like
Mhm.
a lot of the stuff, because obviously things are where they are, and the
Mhm.
exposures are beautiful, but the shadows are really intriguing. And I'm just looking at some. I'm just going to share your some stuff on your website. Just
Sure.
give me a second. I'm going to pop that up on the screen here.
Mhm.
You won't be able to see it, but I'll just tell you what photos, and you can give me an idea. I'll just
Sure.
stay around the top so it's not too daunting for you. So let me just get that up there. Here
I
we
can
go.
follow.
And I get myself off the screen. Okay. So I have your web page up,
Mhm.
and right on the top of your web page, there's a gal soaking up the sun.
Yes.
Okay. Now, are these a good part of these? These are your film shots as well?
Yeah, like I would say, well, I mean, 50% maybe, because
Okay.
I would say about 50%, because there's definitely a lot of commercial stuff in there too that I would have just kind of had that vibe,
Yeah.
but then yeah, I don't know. It's always a mixed bag, really.
When I was going through them, especially in a lot of your portrait work, I noticed that, and I'm just going to find one. Actually, I'm just going to go up to your portrait section, portraits. Here we go, and I'll draw one up, and I'll tell you which one it is. Um, you have a shot of a gal with in black and white,
Yeah.
and she's on top of this really really high cliff, and
Mhm. Yeah.
she's looking right at you. She's dressed in black with a
Mhm.
white sweater around her. You're familiar with that shot?
Yes, I know. Yeah.
Is that film?
No, that one's just a black and white edit. I was shooting all digital at the time. That's actually back in 2017 that I shot that one with
Okay.
Samantha Kim Dean, and really great day. Um, but yeah, that's a digital shot.
It's what I find interesting about this, because I want to ask if it was film, or did you make it look like film, is because I see a lot of your edits have a certain amount of grain to them. There's a certain
Yeah,
grain effect that you have in your photographs.
yeah,
And I really, really like that, because a lot of the stuff that I shoot, I try to put together these old scenes from the 60s and the 50s and all that.
yeah.
And part of the treatment is to make it look like it was almost printed on paper, right?
Mhm.
And it's sort of that same sort of treatment. So when you choose this vintage preset, if you will, it actually puts injects grain into the shot to
Mhm.
give, because obviously that's the way that it was back in the day. And
Mhm.
when I started looking at your photographs, I thought, wow, man, this is awesome. This guy's
Yeah,
using lots and lots of grain, and it was just so impressive.
rain is good.
Oh, grain is, yeah, it really. Oh, there, I can zoom in on the photo now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm zoomed in on it pretty close,
Mhm.
and I can even see the strands of her hair kind of being taken by the wind.
Yeah.
But when I get really close, you can see that grain, and it's just absolutely stunning
Mhm.
to look at. Let's see. I'll just choose one more photo here.
So cool.
You've done some tourism stuff here too, and
Yeah.
I've got a shot here of Hopewell Rocks
Mhm.
that I'm showing now, and it's and I think it's the flower pot. I think it's the one that fell over.
No, I
Is
don't.
that
No,
That's not the one?
I actually think that fell over before I ever made it there. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So there's not that one then.
No, this would have been if it's for tourism. It would have been just this last year.
Okay. So it was three people at the base of
Yes.
one of the rock formations,
Yes, I know which
and then and beyond them, of course, you can see the other
one.
side of what's going on, and wherever the water leads to on the
Mhm.
other side. But again, it's another. If I can get close enough to it, it still has that. From what I can see,
Mhm.
Yeah, it does. It has that grainy kind of
Mhm.
vibe to it, which is really, really nice because
Mhm.
it gives a very organic look to the photos, which you don't see because a lot of people try to do them so clean today that they almost don't look real. And
Yeah, I want to keep it. I want to keep it feeling like the way that you saw it, or like you still want it to feel like a memory a little bit. This is still a digital shot, right? Because
Yeah.
especially when I'm shooting for tourism, but like it's you kind of for me when I'm for, like this kind of shot, I'm gaming or aiming for like film like colors and a little bit of grain, but like keeping a lot of the detail because I ultimately do still want them to be able to blow this up on big ads, or if they
yeah,
want it board if they want or something like that, then great. I want that to still have enough fidelity to look good in that size, but like you still want it to have the energy of like a film shot or like of
yeah,
that
yeah,
kind of
absolutely.
yeah.
There's one other one I'll talk about. I noticed that you do some, and I'm assuming that it's intentional or yeah, intentional camera movement. When you
Mhm.
get the people on the bikes, when you're going through some of these scenes, I'm assuming
Mhm.
that some are for fun. And
Yeah.
it looked like there was one that you were actually driving in a vehicle along with this guy. Was that true?
Oh, is that the is it someone in purple? Like
Yeah, just a
or
sec. I'll find. I was looking at one, but there was another one I saw. Hopefully, I can find it
oh yes,
again.
I think I know what I think I know which one you're talking about there. It's
Yeah, it almost looks like you're driving along with them, and
is it the black and
it,
white one?
it's a black and white one.
Yeah. I was in the back of a truck for that one. That was good.
Okay,
That was
I
fun.
thought you
Fun.
were when I saw that. I'm hoping I can find. Oh, there it is. I found it. I think.
Yeah, that's a favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. No, it's not black and white. This one's color. But there's no question because there's no way you would have got this angle of that bike without being in a truck going. It was on a dirt road, right?
Oh, is this the one that's a mountain biker?
It's a
Like
mountain bike. Yep.
yeah, that one actually I was on the ground for that one. That was just sort of a sweeping motion.
Okay, so the angle that you got, because it comes off as if you're traveling with them.
Mm.
Um,
It's a berm, like a big like dirt berm that she's kind of going around, and I was in the center part, kind of
yeah,
following. Yeah.
yeah, it's pretty cool. So it was a pan shot. So pan
Mhm.
shots, create the motion,
Yeah.
and freeze the subject, and it's just anyway. I just thought it was so cool because when you look at it,
Mm.
you get the sense of motion. So and I noticed you did that on a few of your shots,
Mm. I
and
do
so I
love.
really like those.
I shoot a lot of stuff really high shutter speed, so there is a lot of stuff where it's just kind of captured, but I'm trying to be more deliberate with once in a while kind of
Okay.
putting motion in things. Yeah.
Yeah, we're back on now. I've stopped sharing there. So,
Awesome.
um, yeah, I mean, there's some pretty impressive stuff. So what's in your heart? Like, what do you like to shoot the most?
What's in my heart? That's a great question. I mean, I think travel stuff is sort of the priority really a lot of the time for me. I really, really love finding new places. I don't know if this is I don't know, a trait where I it's not that I get bored of places, but it's when I'm home for long enough, I explore all the nooks and crannies, and then I'm always like just itching to find a new place to kind of see fresh for the first time.
Mhm.
Um, but it's hard to say because I mean I love shooting creative portraits because doing like wardrobe and location scouting is huge for me. Love doing that. Um, yeah, I love the weddings because of the emotions that you get, and people are
Mhm.
all done up as best as they possibly can for that day. And I don't know. I try to be a jack of all trades kind of in a way where it's not taking away from any one thing. Like I just want to photograph life. Like, I
Yeah.
want to just show up in wherever it is that I am. And I want to find good, well, I mean, like overall meaning is your number one, but like just finding
Mhm.
light, color, and composition,
Yeah.
wherever it is, whatever it is you're shooting, wherever it is you are. I know that's kind of been my goal over the years.
Yeah.
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 But
Well, like I say, from what I've seen so far, it's just it's absolutely amazing. I do encourage people to I don't know how they would find you on Instagram. Let me just look this up.
life,
Okay, it's just so you go by life by log.
that's right. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so life by log, all one word.
Yeah.
To find
It's an old nickname, log.
yeah, I love it. Yeah, yeah, to find just look up Logan Hudson.
Yeah.
Life by Log, and check him out. He's got some absolutely amazing stuff there. Anyway, um, anything else, Kate, that you wanted to talk before we got about another 5 minutes to go?
Well, I'm curious, do you have a favorite camera that you're using right now, or does it depend on what you're doing?
Um, that's a good question. I don't know if it's my favorite because I recently used a Rebel film camera that it does the exact same thing, and it was really light and really convenient. But I shoot a lot on this EOS 1, and so it's an
Mhm.
old Canon camera, and I'll just throw on. Right now, I've kind of got a pretty mid zoom lens on it, but I'll throw on my like nice Canon glass that I used to have for Canon used to be my
Yeah.
main shooter. But I think I've got a little Yashica 35 mil
Cool.
point and shoot, and it's
Yeah.
yeah, it's that.
Funny, where did you find that?
Uh, I got a crazy steal on it basically because I got it on Marketplace, but the guy who sold it to me, he sold it to me for $200 for this and two other cameras. And I double checked with him and made him aware because these go for just shy of $1,000 on eBay.
Wow.
I'm pretty sure because maybe one of the Kardashians went on one of the shows, like the talk shows, and was like, I bring
No doubt.
point and shoot camera.
Yeah.
And I think it was
Yeah.
the Contax T2 is what she had, but it also skyrocketed this one as sort of a close second. And so I was like, you realize you're basically giving this away. And he's just like, I'm glad I'm giving it to somebody who's going to shoot with it. And so I made
Wow.
it to shoot with it instead of reselling it. And it's given me some really beautiful stuff, super sharp, fits in your pocket. It's a dream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was my next thing. It must be like paper light to
Yeah.
travel with that.
Oh God, it's so much better than like when you've got the big bulky SLRs. Like,
Oh
yeah.
my God, big time.
Mhm.
And so if you were shooting a wedding, what would you be using for that?
I shoot Sony. I shoot a Sony A7R5, and so like, yeah, it's just the workhorse. It does absolutely everything and anything you would ever want a camera to do. The photos do look good. They look great. And
Oh my
there's a
gosh,
lot of latitude to work with,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's just not the most inspiring piece of equipment to pick up. But like when you're shooting a wedding, I am thankful many times during the day that I have that and not like an old Canon 6D that I used to use, which I do love, but not for a wedding anymore.
Do you find that your bride and grooms are asking for, hey, can you like shoot a little bit of film off to the side? You getting that?
More so these days. I shot a couple weddings like almost exclusively, probably 80% on film. I'll
Okay.
usually shoot like maybe like the family photos on my digital if they really want a priority of having film, just because there's so many of the same shots, and then I'll just like edit them to match. But I do have two or three weddings planned for this year now that they want if not all, then mostly film for the day, which would be amazing.
Okay, wow. So that's a trend that's picking up.
Yeah.
Wow,
Okay.
interesting. Okay.
Well, listen, we're too short. I think we have to extend our show. I don't know, but
I know.
anyway,
Start getting the meat of it, and then you start.
yeah, it's just it goes by so fast. So anyway, I just want to make mention that we are on Facebook, Snapshots and Stories. We are on YouTube. So if you find us on YouTube, please make sure that you hit the like and the subscribe and share. Let's get the word out about us. We're now on Rogers TV, and we're on 7 days a week on Rogers. So on Mondays at 11 in the morning, Tuesdays 5 in the afternoon, Wednesdays 7:30. Pick your poison. Thursday 9, Friday 3:30, Sunday night at 9 o'clock. What a perfect thing to finish or start your week, depending on how you look at Sunday. Then we're on throughout the province as well. Now, as well, if you want to see some more content like we had today here with Logan, please send in your requests to snapshotsandstories@outlook.com. And we would love to hear from you. If you have some photos, please send them in. We'd love to show your photos on here. Lots of times we like to reimagine photos. So if you got a photo that you're looking at, you think, you know what, could this be improved or could be just a different perspective, send it in. Let us have a look at it. We'll share it online. We'll do a little quick edit and, have some fun with it and share your work. So right now I've got to wrap. So thank you so much, Logan, for being here. You are I'd love to have you back actually, because there's so much more I'd like to talk to you about, and I'm sure Kate would as well. So folks out there, please, if you like the show, again, hit that like and subscribe there for us. Next week, we're going to finish up what we started on the week before, about Kate's venture and her looking for her new gear. So we're going to do some more talking on that, because the end of the show was too short. So from myself and from Kate and from Logan, thank you all so much for viewing, and we'll see you on the next episode. So long for now.
Thanks, guys.
Good night. Bye.